September 11th, 2001. A day that changed everything. We were told a simple story: terrorists, planes, tragedy. But is that the whole story? From the wrestling ring to the governor's mansion, I've learned the official story is rarely the complete story. The powerful want you scared and angry, so you don't ask questions. But some of us did, and we haven't stopped. They want you to believe a handful of men with box cutters outsmarted the world's most powerful military. NORAD stood down. Fighter jets never scrambled. Our defenses failed at every level. On just that one morning, we're told it was a failure of imagination. But what if it wasn't a failure at all? These questions get you labeled a conspiracy theorist. But a true patriot questions their government. The official narrative is clean, like a movie script. But the real world is messy, full of loose ends. What about the Pentagon? What about World Trade Center Building 7? What about the trillions missing from the Pentagon, announced just a day before? These are facts, not wild theories. The media and government don't want to talk about them. They want you to remember the story they told you. So let's look at the facts. Let's ask the tough questions. Why? Because you deserve the truth. The families deserve the truth. The American people deserve the truth. It's been over 2 decades and the questions still linger. The official story has holes, big ones. Holes big enough to fly a plane through, or maybe something else. Let's dig in and see what we find when we start pulling on these threads. The truth is out there if you're willing to look. Let's get started. The Pentagon, heart of the American military. The official story: a Boeing 757 hit the building, but the initial hole was only about 20 feet wide. Not big enough for a 100-ton jet. Where's the wreckage? No wings, no engines, no seats, just a clean lawn. Eyewitnesses gave conflicting reports. Some saw a plane, others described something more like a missile. The government says the plane vaporized, yet they found black boxes and DNA. How do you find DNA, but not a single seat cushion or engine? The Pentagon is one of the most surveilled buildings on Earth, cameras everywhere. But the government seized all nearby footage: gas stations, hotels, highways. Years later they released a few grainy frames. You see a white streak, an explosion. But not a 757. The official explanation? The wings folded back, the plane entered the building, and the fire destroyed everything. But jet fuel fires don't vaporize steel engines or entire planes. No major debris field, no wing marks. It just doesn't add up. The questions about the Pentagon attack are serious. Why confiscate all the footage? Why no clear evidence of a plane? The story doesn't fit the facts. We're left with a hole too small, no wreckage, and missing video. The official story is, at best, incomplete. At worst, it's a deliberate deception. We need real answers, not just official statements. The truth matters, especially here. Let's keep digging. Follow the money. On September 10, 2001, Defense Secretary Rumsfeld announced the Pentagon couldn't account for $2.3 trillion. The next day, the section of the Pentagon investigating this missing money was destroyed. The very people and records tracking the money, gone. Is that a coincidence or motive? The investigation into the missing trillions stopped cold. The media ignored it. The nation was distracted. Was the Pentagon attack about military might, or erasing evidence of massive fraud? The money was never found. The story was buried. For those who look at the facts, the timing and location are more than suspicious. It's a smoking gun. 3 towers fell on September 11th, but the media only talks about 2. World Trade Center Building 7, a 47-story steel skyscraper, wasn't hit by a plane. It suffered small fires, then collapsed perfectly into its own footprint at near freefall speed. The official story: office fires caused the collapse, but that's never happened before or since. Thousands of architects and engineers say the official story defies physics. For a building to fall so uniformly, all core columns would have to fail at once, like a controlled demolition. Inside were offices for the CIA, Secret Service, IRS, and SEC, housing files on major corporate fraud. All that evidence destroyed. The media barely reported it. Some even announced the collapse before it happened. The fall of Building 7 is the biggest hole in the official story. It points to something far deeper. After the dust settled, did we get answers? No, we got the Patriot Act. Passed so fast, Congress didn't read it. The government gained sweeping powers to spy on citizens, all in the name of safety. The Department of Homeland Security was created, merging 22 agencies into a secretive bureaucracy. Fear became the new normal. Color-coded alerts, invasive airport security, constant surveillance. The attacks justified endless wars, costing trillions and countless lives. The narrative divided us versus them, Christian versus Muslim. When people are divided, they don't see who's really pulling the strings. Who benefited, the terrorists, or those who gained power, money, and control? The official story serves a purpose, to keep us afraid and compliant, but the questions remain. It's our duty to keep asking until we get the truth.